This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so in previous session, like in our demo, we discussed about how a utility industry looks like and what are the business processes we have, what are the different modules we have, right? And in today's session, we'll be discussing about the data what we maintain in SAP, how the data has been categorized, and what type of different data we maintain, and what is the purpose of maintaining those different data sets. So in overall, I'm talking about SAP, not only utilities. In any of the ERP packages, ERP in the sense Enterprise Resource Planning Package, you have thousands of ERP solutions throughout the world. One of the ERP solution is your SAP. And the data what we maintain in SAP is broadly categorized into three sections. The first one is called customizing or configuration data. So I just mentioned like it is an ERP solution. That means it's a predefined package. And especially when you look at SAP IS utilities, industry specific solutions for utilities, the core business processes, the core business functionality is already configured or already designed in SAP. It's a predefined package. That means with the minute changes, you can implement and you can start using that application with a minor or a minimal interval. That means it also has the solutions, it already has the business processes and everything. Now you need to modify or you need to accommodate your organizational information into that application, which is called configuration data. And no solution can be 100% solution. So in the same way, even the SAP comes with its own solutions, its own business processes and everything. But when it comes to a specific client, they may have their own specific requirements. Meaning your SAP might be covering 90% of your business requirements, but 10% you may have to enhance the SAP system, which is called customization, right? So anything which you are using as is called configuration data. Anything you are enhancing the system is called customizing data. So this data, we are going to store it as customizing or configuration data. Second is called transactional data. So when you go with transactional data, day-to-day activities of the business users will be maintained or tracked as a transactional data. Same example, if I take it in utilities, every module has its own business processes. Every module has its own day in, day out data flow. Say, for instance, if I take customer services who interact with the customers. So customer move-ins, customer move-outs, customer complaints, transfer of services, customer correspondence, customer complaints, all those things are tracked or stored as a transactional data from the customer service. Same thing, if I go with work management, we do create service orders, service notifications, work order statuses, and everything. So you'll be creating hundreds of service orders in a day. For work management, that is your transactional data. When you go with the device management, you have your meter read order creations, meter read uploads, meter read validations, device installations, device removals, device inspections. Everything is tracked as a transactional data. Next is your billing and invoicing. You'll have to create the bill documents and invoicing documents, and print the invoice documents, send the PDF or send a paper bill out the door. All those are called daily activities, which is again transactional data. When you go with FICA, you have a lot of things which we do on a day in, day out. Payments, returns, refunds, dunning proposals, dunning activities, interest calculations, security deposit, there are anything. Day in, day out activities, we track them as transactional data. The third set of data is called master data. Now, when it comes to master data, depending on the application what you're trying to use, your master data might vary or will vary. Say for instance, if I take R3 application, which is ECC, and if you go with master data, you'll come across customer master data, material master data, document master data, conditions master data, and all this stuff. But when it comes to utilities, it has its own master data. One is your org structure, that is your enterprise structure. By default, anything you have to have it. Other than that, your master data is broadly categorized into three sections or three sets of information. One is called scheduling. Scheduling will have further subcomponents. We'll discuss it later. Scheduling. And the second one is called business master data, or that is also called as commercial master data. So this one is called business master data. At the same time, we also call it as a commercial master data. And the next data is called technical master data, or we also call it as service address details. I'll take a pause. Any questions so far? So we discussed about customization or a configuration data, transactional data, which is day in, day out the business transactions. And then we have master data. And in the master data, you have scheduled master data, technical master data, billing, business master data. Right? Now, when you go with technical master data, as I already mentioned, technical master data, the other definition for a technical master data, or the other word for technical master data, or a synonym for technical master data in SAP is your service address. Now, how do we maintain your property details, your residential property, or a commercial property, or industrial property? we need to maintain those details in SAP system. The technical master data is the one which leverage to maintain the property details. When I say property details, you can have it could be a single family home, or it could be a mobile automobile, what do you say, apartment, which is called multi-unit, or it could be a commercial or an industrial or irrigation customer, right? Or you can have further classification on the residential itself, residential, single family, duplex, triplex, fourplex, or multi-unit. You can have different examples on it. But we need to maintain that details. Okay, let me further simplify it. As a customer, if you are reaching out to a utility company and you're asking for a connection, electricity connection at your home, while you fill the application, you'll put all your address details, and sometimes your utility company might also ask, do you know the pole number, or do you know the transformer number, or do you know any reference ID near to your property, right? Landmark or something. Now, imagine you already submit your application. Now I need to send the information to my field force to go and visit the property. Now, how the technician or how the meter reader or the field staff is going to visit your property until unless you give a complete detailed requirement. How do you get it? Your house address. When you fill out your application, you're going to fill out the house address where you want the service. That address, we're going to maintain it as technical master data in SAP. Now, what are the components we have in that, or how elaborative we are going to maintain your address in SAP? In SAP, you have a provision, you can maintain house number, house address, your street name or apartment, or anything. Just think of your address, forget about any other addresses. Assume your home address. Think of your home address. Or let me deviate from utilities. Let's go to a different business process to really understand what is technical master data is. In a simple layman's terminology or layman's understanding, if you are sending a letter to your home address, imagine a postman or a courier boy has to reach out to your property to deliver that package. Do you know how we are going to identify the address for delivery? Any guess? Question two, guys. Say, for instance, I'm sending a letter, a courier boy or a postman. How do they deliver that package exactly the same address? I hope you guys can hear me, right?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So the answer,
Um, I don't know, maybe Google Maps, I'm not sure.
Okay, forget about the postman or whatever it is. If you need to find an address, let's say for example, you're traveling from Delhi to somewhere unknown location. Let's say you got a job in Bangalore and now you're traveling to Bangalore. And if you need to find out an address, what is the process you follow? Starting from your home. So first you'll identify the state, correct? Then you'll identify the city where you want to go. Then you'll identify the street where you need to go. Then you'll identify the house number or the building number or the office number or the office building where you need to go and report. Correct? Fair statement. In the same way, if a meter reader or if a technician has to reach out to your property, I need to provide all these details. Correct? If you split your address, look into your address, house address. So you don't need to think about any other things. Look into your house address. You'll have, forget about your first name, last name, everything. Later you'll say flat. If it is an apartment, then you'll say flat number so and so. Then your apartment number or apartment name is so and so. Then sometimes you also write plot number so and so, street, city, state, postal code. Agree? The same thing we are going to maintain as technical master data in SAP IS utilities. So in this, you can also maintain the address components in SAP. That address component is called political and postal regional structure. Or in simple logic, we call it as regional structure. And that regional structure has two components, which is political and postal. And before even getting into that, let me give you a real time scenario. We normally don't maintain any political or postal regional structures in SAP. Even though there is a feature, there is a functionality available, we don't use it because most of the cases your utility companies will have tie up with one of your local address management companies or address management organizations. Address management organizations in the sense it could be your best source as your local post office, right? Because those are the one who move or who serve the people daily on those addresses. So they also maintain their own database, which is called address database, right? Or else there are many private courier companies which are running their business. So they can also provide your service address details. Am I clear? So 99% your utility companies will have a tie-up with one of your address providers software or a database. Sometimes again it depends on the utility company. Some utility companies where they have a huge dollar budget, they can have a real-time integration with that company or that service provider. If the budget is very low or the customer base is very low, so in such cases, most of the utility companies, what they do is they buy the addresses for one time from the address service provider. So they dump everything in SAP as a technical master data, individual technical master data components. Now you guys may have a question like, why do I need to maintain all those addresses in SAP? The reason behind that is, let's say as a customer, you reached out to the utility company to provide a service. Now, as and when you give the address, and as an agent, as and when he puts the address, your system should propose the premise which is already exists. So simply, he can select the existing premise or a property and will perform rest of the activities like doing a move in or move out and all the stuff. I'll take a pause. Any questions so far? No? So as I said, in real time, we always have an integration with third party, one of the third party companies where to maintain unified addresses in SAP application. Got it? So simply saying you can skip political and postal because no utility companies are maintaining that information in SAP. So if you really want to see how it looks like, go to SAP. You guys are already from SAP background, right? So if you go to regional structure, you can see postal and political. Political representation is how your utility company is classifying the entire service territory. Best example, you take any electricity utility departments back in India. Normally, they classify it based on a zone: south zone, north zone, east zone, west zone, or southeast, southwest, and all the stuff. Right? So that is your political. The way how you are classifying your addresses political ways, political area wise. Does it come under which district? Does it come under which street and all the stuff? So if we look at the existing one, in US, the entire political regional structure has been classified as states. States will have administrative districts. Administrative district will have county. County will have city. City will have city districts. If you take the same example in India, you'll have state. States will have districts. Districts will have mandals. Mandals will have talukas. Talukas will have villages. Right? That's the structure in India. So here, state, zones, districts, mandal, taluka, panchayat or village, and cities and municipalities. Clear? Are we good with this? So this is all about political and political. When it goes to, sorry, in political regional structure, again, you'll have two components. One is maintain hierarchy, and the second one, maintain node. The hierarchy is you'll have a state, state will have zone, zone will have district, district will have mandal, mandal will have taluka, panchayat. This is the geographical structure. But now, if your utility company is providing, I mean, your local service areas, you need to classify it, correct? That's the reason in the second step, you're going to maintain those elements. This is hierarchy and this is your elements. Best example is if I go with in India, in your India hierarchy, you said step number one is your state. Now, once I click on the state, the next one is your zone. North zone, south zone, east zone, west zone, central zone, southeast, southwest, and all that stuff. And within that, the next node is district. District is you can have your different districts. If I go with central, you have different things. Same case if I go with US, so we have states, Oklahoma, Nebraska, Texas, Arizona, Florida. And within this, if you go with any state, they'll have administrative district. Administrative district will have county. County will have city and so on and so forth. Very good. So this is called political hierarchy or political regional structure. Whereas the second component of your regional structure is postal code, which is also called as zip code. So as I already mentioned, if you are not maintaining those addresses as technical master data, one second, yes. When it comes to postal regional structure, you need to maintain let me show you that. So in postal, you'll be coming across postal code, city, and streets. Am I clear? Okay, then I'll stop it here. If you guys have any questions, you can ask. And there is nothing to define anything. That's the reason I have not touched anything on the configuration side. But tomorrow we'll be discussing about technical master data, how to configure, and what are the components we have in technical master data and all this stuff. Very clear?
Yes.
Okay, then have a good evening, good morning. Meet you guys